Welcome back to the One Step Journey podcast, season 3, episode 12.
We are here.
We are here, and thank you guys as always for tuning back in, taking another step with us here today on your journey, our journey, whatever journey you are on in life here. We are proud of you.
We
appreciate you.
We're here.
We're here, baby. We're here.
It's February already.
The day before the big
Big
game.
game.
That's crazy, man.
I know.
We're already we're a month and a half in.
It's already about to be this is literally about to be middle of February.
Middle of February.
Week.
We have another month and a half until Q3.
Yeah,
Q2, sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm
Slow
tripping.
down,
Whoa,
my
hang
boy.
on.
Hold
Whoa.
up.
Math is not my strong suit today.
Yeah.
It's all good, man. But yeah, we are here, dude.
We got a good one for you.
We have a good one.
We got a really good one.
Yeah, we do. And I'm really excited because we talked a little bit off camera, and we'll talk a little bit about this in a moment here. But there's a lot of things that there's a show. We'll kind of get into it. There's a show that we're watching that you actually put me on, and Tina.
And I put my dad on it too, and my dad is hooked.
Is he?
My dad is hooked.
It's really good. And definitely appreciate you for giving us.
Shout out to Alexa. Alexa put me on.
Shout out to Alexa, right? We just spoke.
To Alexa. We just talked to her.
Spoke,
Shout out to Alexa for putting me onto this.
Which then put me onto this, and Tina.
Dad, and then you guys are going to be telling other people about it as well.
I already told my parents and her parents.
Perfect.
Wow. Alexa, thank you so much.
Yeah.
See, this would not be
it's
possible.
It's a ripple effect.
Ripple effect.
I know.
A leader right there. Look at that.
It's always one of the best feelings when you give somebody a recommendation on some music or a show or a movie and they watch it and then they actually love it.
Yeah.
It's a really good feeling.
It is. Yeah. And I think, just give some people some context. It's a show.
Yeah.
Called Severance.
Severance on Apple TV.
It's so good.
If you have not watched it, you're missing out.
Yeah. Give them a quick, just basically the overview of what the show's about.
So basically, it's Adam Scott, who's the actor. It's about this guy and these people who work at a company called Lumen, and they undergo what's called the severance procedure, meaning they split their lives basically into two halves. So you have your outie, which is your life outside of work, and your innie, which is your life inside of work. And when you go down the elevator to the bottom floor, when you get to work, you don't remember anything about your outside life. And then when you go up the elevator and you leave work, you don't remember anything about your work life, anything that you did at work, nothing. It's all completely erased. So your life is split into two halves.
Yeah. It's crazy,
and there's a lot of drama and everything.
Yeah.
And there's obviously things that happen and unfold that keep you hooked, but it is a crazy show.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think, so I'm on season 1, and you said season 2 is live, dropping every Friday now, right?
Yeah, there's a new episode every single Friday.
Okay.
Now there's 4 episodes. The new one just dropped. I have not watched it yet. My dad has.
Tonight.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Oh my God, let's go.
But it's really good. And the reason why we bring this up is because it's kind of in conjunction with the topic of the day.
Yeah, right.
Balancing a full plate.
Yeah.
Portion control. Not necessarily even just with the diet, but just with all your endeavors in life.
Just life
Social
itself.
life, work,
Yeah.
side projects, hustles, kids,
everything.
sports, activities, everything. How do you balance a full plate?
Yeah. That's a million, probably $10 million question.
I know.
Because it's a lot, right? And we've talked about this where, there's a lot on our plate right now, a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
Very ambitious. We want to accomplish a lot in life. But at some point, and I can attest to this, we talked a little bit yesterday, is when I was with my social work job, I almost burned out 3 times in my role.
Yeah.
Because I had 3 side businesses on that I was working on top of a full-time job, on top of a relationship, on top of wedding planning. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's
a lot.
And you think in the moment, it's like, oh, I can easily do this. I could do that.
But then when it comes time to do it, you're just getting burnt out.
Can't do it. I took too much on, and it's just really identifying and being aware of what's going on, what you want to accomplish, having the patience to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Because here's the reality: is that there's a lot that we're going to accomplish, right?
Yes.
Like Christina and I, you're going to accomplish a lot. That's just who we are, and we're not going to quit.
Yeah.
What I think what I've learned about myself is that when you go down that path, there's some impatience that take place, right?
Yeah.
You're impatient because you're not seeing the results right away, or you put in so much work, but you're not yielding it right away.
Yeah.
And then for me, it's just, it's not working. Let's go do a different endeavor.
Let's go do something different.
And let's see where that's going to go. And it's just this cycle that we're in. And it's like, okay, I'm in this cycle. I'm in the same place. I'm in a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. So what do I need to do as a person?
So what are we going to do that's different?
100%, right? And I feel you're slowly kind of in that phase of where I was a year ago.
It's a lot, right? And, I kind of use this joke when I'm when I'm at work and I'm sitting down with a med spa owner, a plastic, a derm, or whatever, and they're talking about integrating devices that have so many different modalities, right? Laser hair removal, resurfacing, pigment, tattoo removal, all this kind of stuff under one box. And while that seems great, jack of all, master of none. Jack of all trades, master of none, meaning you're doing so many things at once, right? You're spreading yourself so thin. Yeah, you might be doing it, but to what caliber?
Right.
Like, how are you really doing it? Are you doing it well? Are you giving yourself enough time to focus on each endeavor that's getting your full efforts? Or are you just trying to do so much, you're just turning the paper and you don't even give a fuck about the grade?
Right.
Right? And so we're going through that right now in life where we're trying to dabble so many things, right? You have so much going on at work. I got a lot going on at work. We're doing the podcast. We're doing the YouTube. We got other projects, right, that, are not ready to be released yet, but we have a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And we can even speak to, to one of them right now. I remember I had reached out to you a couple weeks ago and I was like, hey, I'm seeing all this stuff online, on social media. We've been active in the fitness community for so long. I constantly get messages all the time. I know you do. People are asking about the diets. They're asking about the workouts. Why don't we do some online coaching? And like, while we both were kind of talking about it and we realized like, this is an amazing endeavor.
Yeah.
But realistically looking at what's on our plate, do we have the time?
Right. Do we have the mental capacity?
Do we have the mental capacity? And the answer is no.
No.
Which is why we haven't done it yet.
Correct.
Because we just don't have the mental capacity.
No.
And it's, something that you guys have seen, right? With on top of your work and her work and the podcast, JL, Liquid Axe, wedding planning, all that kind of stuff. You guys have seen that YouTube's a fucking grind.
It's a grind, dude.
It's a grind.
A lot.
It takes up a lot of my time because like dropping 2 videos a week, like that's a big demand.
Right.
Right? The bodybuilding, big demand.
Right.
Cooking in the food, big demand. Work, big demand.
Traveling, dude.
Traveling.
Everywhere, dude. Every week.
Just like,
yeah.
It's constantly a full plate. So all that to say, how are we balancing these things?
Right.
And one of the things that we have gotten really good at, or that I'm trying to get better at, I should say, is saying no.
Yeah.
To people, to opportunities, to things of that nature. Because if I can't give it 100%, then I can't do it. Right? Just like E.T. said, like if it's got my name on it, I'm giving everything I got. And if I don't have the mental capacity or the time to give 110% into this endeavor right now, maybe now is not the right time.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a no forever, but at least for right now, I can't.
Yeah, for sure. And when we had that conversation, I feel like it was like a month ago about the online coaching. The first thing I remember the first thing when you texted me, I'm like, this is a great idea. But in my head, I'm like,
then you're thinking about everything that's going on.
And then I know that's why I wanted to call you because we were driving. I'm like, bro, this is a phenomenal idea. And I know we could do it. I know we can.
But it's now the right time. No.
It's just not.
And you also have to think about it from a different standpoint, right? Like, I'm not thinking about getting into the online coaching or doing some of these other projects for a money grab.
Right.
Could we go on there and get 4 or 5 clients and then do what we got to do? But like, I'm not doing it for a money grab.
Right.
I want to do it because I genuinely want to help people transform their lives, get them on a better path, help them with their nutrition and like overall mental health and just overall body health going up. So like, it's going to take time.
It does take time.
It does take time. So it's like, I want to be able to give a full effort to this. And at this moment in time, on this very day that we're talking here, I don't know if I have the mental capacity or the time to be able to do that. So just like we said, with everything that we do, we give 100%. Now's not the right time.
Yeah. Right. That's okay.
So drawing those boundaries and drawing those lines in the sand and saying no, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you spread yourself too thin, bro, you water down the peanut butter. At the end of the day, these are just watered down peanuts on the bread.
Yeah, trust me. And it's not a fun place to be.
It's not a fun place
I'll
to be.
tell you firsthand.
Spreading too thin.
Yeah.
You're not pasta, bro.
No, you're not.
You're not pasta.
No, not at all. And I think too, like, and I don't want people to get, I don't think this is maybe misunderstood, but I'm an advocate for building something on the side of your
100%.
full-time job, right? But I think you have to be very strategic and have a game plan going into it, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, where are you at right now? Like, where are you at right now in life? Take an audit of your life. Are you single? Are you in a relationship? Right? Where do you see yourself going? What's your 9 to 5 like? Are you working? Are you working 40 hours a week? Are you working more than 40 hours a week? Are you traveling? Like, you have to ask yourself the really deep questions.
Yeah.
Where can I allocate 2 extra hours a day, 10 hours a week, right? Or whatever the math is, 14 hours a week on this project.
Yeah.
Right? Can I do it? Can I sustain that? Right? Because when you go on that, there's going to be you're not going to see the success right away.
Yeah.
And that's why for me, and I realize this as I mature and get older, if I don't see that right away, I want to jump ship and go to something else, because someone comes with me with another idea. That sounds great. But now, having the maturity, you take a second.
Yeah.
You got to pause.
And think about it.
And you got to think, because like to your point, no doesn't mean no forever. No means just not yet.
Not right now.
It's not yet. And that's okay. When is that? I don't know.
I don't know. Could be
yet.
in 2 months. Could be in 3 months. Maybe it's after the wedding. We do it after the summer.
Right.
After I buy a house, after one of the other projects launches. Who knows, right?
No one knows, right? So, but it is really important, man. So just to understand where you're at and understand who you are, right?
Yeah.
So kind of going into that, right? Like you're in a phase right now. We kind of talked a little bit yesterday, right? Like you have your 9 to 5. You have YouTube. You have a couple other endeavors that we've talked about offline that you're excited to.
We keep dangling the nuggets.
I know.
But like we just can't talk about it yet.
The timing's not right.
Yeah.
It's not there yet. When the time is right, you will know.
You guys will know for sure.
When you're yes, 100%. But when you're getting to that phase in life, like genuine, like where are you at? Like, do you feel that is a lot on your plate? Do you feel that you can do this, or do you feel at times it's like maybe this is too much? Like, talk to me about like what's the inner dialogue with you when you're going out, branching out.
Full transparency. We always want to be vulnerable and we want to be honest.
Yeah.
There's definitely certain times throughout the week where I wonder if it's too much.
Correct.
I think right now my plate is full. I can't take on anything else.
Yeah.
Which is exactly why with the online coaching, it's not right now. But it's definitely doable.
It is doable.
I'm not overeating with what's on my plate. It's doable. It's hard, obviously, juggling things. Are you good?
We're good. Yeah.
It's hard, obviously, juggling things like the YouTube, for instance, right? 2 videos a week. Like it's
a lot. I mean, people think about that.
It's a big chunk.
That's a lot, man.
You have to record content. You have to like have an idea and conceptualize what it's going to be. You have to record content. You have to edit content, splice it together, and upload it. It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
It seems easy, but 2 videos a week.
That's
a lot.
Yeah.
It's 2 ideas a week. It's recording 2 separate things a week.
Right.
It's editing 2 different. You know what I mean? It's a lot.
It adds up, dude. Yeah,
it does.
To your point.
Especially like when I've been on the road for the last 3 weeks. The hardest part for me when I'm on the road is exercise and nutrition. That's the main focus when I'm on the road. That's why, honestly, the last couple of weeks with the YouTube, like, I've had to post some older content because, like, I just don't have the time. But I also have to know and be realistic, right? Not every video is going to be perfect. You have to be consistent, right? And you have to ask yourself when you're adding new things onto your plate, is the juice worth the squeeze?
It's a great question.
Is the juice going to be worth the squeeze? And you had mentioned something a couple minutes ago when you're like, you're thinking about divvying up a couple hours here for this project, a couple hours here, and you're like, you're managing your time extremely well. One of the questions you have to ask yourself, is this routine sustainable? Is this realistic? Can I do it for a week? Can I do this for a month? Can I do it for 6 months or 2 years? Because the YouTube is going to be a grind. It's going to be a fucking grind.
Yeah.
Right? This could be a 10, 15 year play.
Yeah. You have no idea.
You have no idea what it's going to be. So is this sustainable? Right? And so to answer your question, the inner dialogue, we obviously always have those moments where I'm like, fuck, it's been a long day. Like, am I trying to do too much? You know, but like I would say the overarching answer is no, I'm not trying to do too much. My plate is definitely full. I don't think I can take on any more projects, but I also don't think I'm doing too much. Yeah. If that makes sense.
It does make sense.
What about you?
Yeah. I'm to a point now where I'm in the same boat as you. Right, where I think it's filling up. It's not overflowing.
Yeah.
But it's to that point where, okay, like, can I take on something else? Like, for example, full transparency. I won't go into it too much, but I had someone approach me last week about another business opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it. I asked some questions, and I'm gonna meet with this individual this upcoming week because I do want to learn.
Always open to conversations.
Always.
Yes.
And I need to, I had my boundaries. I'm like, hey, listen, this is where I'm at. I need to know, I don't know how much I could give if this were to become a reality, but I want to talk more and see and understand, right? Because there's a lot of moving pieces with the other businesses, with Liquidax, JEL, and there's a couple other endeavors too we got going on. But for me, I'm in a good place right now. And if I'm thinking, as I was reflecting on that conversation I had last week with said person, I was like, okay, can I realistically do that?
Yeah.
And at that time, I was like, oh, this might be a good conversation, a good opportunity. Then the next day, we had a team meeting with LQ.
Yeah.
And, I can't get into the nitty gritty, but we're really close on securing a deal that's been going on for a long, long time, a couple years, like our CEO has, that could really change the direction of our firm. Right. And with that comes more responsibility for us.
Yeah.
Right. And more opportunity. So I'm taking all that in and, computing that in my brain and trying to see, okay, this is a good thing. I've been with Liquid X it'll be a year this June, this May. It's crazy to think about. Time is flying.
It's almost been a year since you walked away.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
The next chapter.
It's not the next chapter. But with that, I've learned so much. Do I want to restart something and start from the ground up? How much is it going to yield me? Is it something that I love? Is it something that I'm going to pick up? Because here's the thing. I can talk to people. That's a strong suit for both of us. That's the least of my worries. But how quickly can I pick up what they're teaching me?
Yeah.
So to get back, that was a long-winded response, but getting back to where the question you had asked is my plate really full? I'm at like almost full capacity. Yeah. Anything more...
Maybe like one scoop of green beans, but like at that point, it might be a little bit much.
Yes, right. Am I going to get ice cream is the real question.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get it right now.
You
know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to go get that right now.
Like you're satiated.
I am. Of course, I could have it, but do I need it?
Yeah. Let me ask you another question because this is really big. This kind of goes back to our overarching theme of what we wanted this year to be. Are you comfortable?
I'm not comfortable, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you, I'm not comfortable.
I'm not comfortable. Bro. Far from it.
No, I'm far from it. I'm
in the water for sure, bro. I'm swimming.
There is. I'm trying to find ways that I could, I can inch up a little bit higher so I can breathe.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable. That's a really good. I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I was just thinking about that because our whole thing for the year is being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Getting outside of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And pushing ourselves a little bit.
Yeah. I'm far from that, which is great.
Yeah.
And I have no. Yeah. So the answer to your question, no, I'm not. I'm not comfortable, and I'm happy with that because that's, like you said, that's something we've talked about.
That's the only way to grow,
right? And here's the thing too. This is another perspective that I have with that too. That I've really been intentional with this past week because January was the busiest month I've ever had.
It's a shit show.
We talked about it, right? Like with one of the cases closing, it was mayhem. I was the most stressed I've been in a long time.
You were pretty thin, bro, that last week.
I was very thin, and it was just not good. I feel bad for Christina. Thank you, Christina, for being
Shout out
there.
to Tina.
Shout out to Tina. It wasn't fun, and I know it wasn't fun anyways. I totally forgot where I was going with this, but
you're saying that January was like the busiest month and it was just like chaos all over the place.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And we're kind of getting to a better pace now.
Yes. So her and I got away last weekend and just allowed us to just decompress. And
much needed.
Much needed, man.
Yeah.
And going into this past week was just, for me, it's all about slowing down.
Yeah.
Because January, I couldn't slow down. Like, I tried, but I owed it to myself for finishing that case the way I did. I owed it to myself because I've been working on it for 3 years.
We talked about it on the phone, my boy. If you've been doing this for 3 years, you can fucking do it for another 3 weeks.
I can do it for 3 weeks. I can do it for
another day, whatever it is.
Right. And we did
You got it in you, and you did it. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that, brother. I really do.
It's big.
And this past week has just a lot of been reflecting, game planning, slowing down. Even just when I talk to people, it's all about just slowing down.
Yeah.
Right? But it's more intentional because there are some conversations that had to be had that's not always comfortable. You know what I mean? So that's something I've been working on as I kind of going into February, closing the chapter of January, getting into February, and then keep stacking those days and going into into the next month.
See, that's really big, and it's something that that came to my mind, and I don't even know if this is if it's gonna make sense.
Yeah,
it's all about understanding the race. And understanding what pace you have to go at, right? You were starting to get a little burnt out middle of January, early January, but you knew that the end of January was going to be the end of it, at least for a little bit. So you knew you had to sprint. Getting into something like YouTube, or as we're building this podcast, we know it's a little bit of a longer race.
It's a marathon.
It doesn't have to go as fast. It's a little bit of a slower pace, but we have a farther distance. So I feel like as we're adding things to the plate, we're taking things off to the plate, a big thing that we have to ask ourselves is, what kind of race is this? Is this going to be a sprint? Do I have to just put my head down, hunker in, and just lock in for a month, 2 months? Or is this something where I have to just ease into it, stay consistent, and stay steady for a couple of years? Because when I'm adding something onto my plate, yeah, it might suck, but if this is just going to be a sprint for a couple months, I can do it.
Easy.
But if I have to try to keep that pace for 6 months or to a year, that's a little bit much, right? Or if I'm adding something a little bit lighter that I just got to do for a couple hours a week, that's going to be a little bit of a longer play. Okay.
Yeah.
Or am I going to be trying to put down a 28-ounce porterhouse onto my plate?
Yeah.
Or are we just adding on some olives and you know what I mean? Maybe a little ice cream at the end of the dinner.
Yeah.
So it's all about understanding the race, if that makes sense, and understanding what journey are we getting on, right? Because that's the one thing. You're running a 100-yard dash. You're giving everything you got, but it's 10 seconds.
Right.
You're running a marathon. We're looking at, you're still giving everything you got, but it's a little bit of a slower duration. It's 3 hours, 4 hours, right? Versus like everything you got for 10 seconds.
Right.
That makes sense.
It makes total sense. I mean, if you look at Usain Bolt, right? He trained for 4 years to run 10 seconds. It's the same
crazy.
exact principle what you just talked about, right?
Understanding the race.
1,000%. And I think it's just understanding the situation you're in too, and understanding where you're at and what you want to accomplish, because these are conversations we have all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like understanding like why you're doing what you're doing, this strategizing everything.
Yeah.
And not just going in blind to something, which is something I used to do before. I'll be frank. I was just going in because I thought working this job and working all these, side jobs was like, oh, it's hard work.
So cool. It's hard work.
100%.
Yeah.
It was foolish.
Yeah.
That wasn't wise of me to do. You know what I mean?
I love that. You want to know another big thing kind of going along with what I just said?
Yeah.
When it comes to understanding the race, you also have to understand what kind of runner you are. Are you a sprinter? Are you somebody that can put your head down and lock in for 1, 2, 3 months? Or are you more of a marathon, a little bit of a longer race kind of person?
Yeah.
You have to understand, right?
Right.
What kind of runner you are. And obviously everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, and everybody, like, you can obviously learn to become a distance runner, work on your speed and things of that nature, right? Because I'm just kind of staying with this analogy. But at the end of the day, you have to realize what kind of runner you are.
Yeah, yeah, and Have you ever taken what are those
The Enneagrams?
Enneagrams? Have you ever taken one of those
Like
tests?
a personality type? Yeah, we had to do one for my job.
Did you feel that was pretty accurate of who you were as a person?
It was like fairly close, right?
Yeah.
But then when you're asking yourself this, right, and somebody asks you that question, like, what kind of person are you? And you're reading this kind of stuff. Are you reading it from an unbiased set of eyes, or are you reading it like from an ego standpoint?
That's true.
Like
that's true.
That's also another question you have to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Is this who I am, or is this who I really am?
Right. Yeah, that's very interesting, because obviously depending on the situation, you may respond differently than you were if you were in X situation as opposed to Y situation, right? To
It's
your
a
point.
lot of the stuff, right? Because a lot of that is like based off of like different situations and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a circumstance basis.
It's so interesting.
Right?
Yeah. I do. I agree with you. I do feel that those...
It's a pretty accurate though.
It gives you a baseline of kind of who you are, understanding yourself.
But you also have to think about when you're asking that questionnaire, like, what kind of mental state am I in?
That's again, it goes back to
Is this a good
understanding.
day or is this a bad day?
Yeah.
Do I not really give a fuck right now, or like, am I like, top of the morning, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hey, how are you? 7 cups of coffee here.
Right, riding the fucking sunshine in, right? Johnny Sunshine and everything, right? I'm 10 cups of coffee in.
Yeah.
Red Bull. It's giving me wings. I'm flying around. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but seriously though, right?
Situational.
Situation too, right? If you're picking up my drift here, like the situation. So, anyways,
The best show.
sorry, best show. Shout out to Jersey Shore, one of the greatest shows of all time.
Yeah.
So, but no, I asked that question because I personally feel that gives people at least a good understanding of who you are, and I feel again, and this is just my opinion and thought, it's all about really understanding yourself.
Yeah.
In every facet of life.
Yeah.
Right, from work, right? What's your role at work, right? Not everyone's going to be the CEO. Not everyone's going to be, in the light, but you could do a lot of work behind the scenes and still get just enough credit, if not more credit.
100%.
So I think it's just all about understanding your role when you get into something, understanding where you fit into the equation, and understanding yourself too, if that makes sense.
Dude, I don't know, like the way that my mind is working today, I'm just like thinking of all these different analogies, right?
I love it though.
Everything that we're talking about has kind of been about balancing your plate, right? It's all about portion control. This is going to come from a point in your life where you're going to have to sit down and do a little bit of some internal reflection. Are we in a bulking phase or are we in a cutting phase? Are we looking to add more things, right? For the people that don't know, right? When you're bulking, you have to be in a caloric surplus. And then when you're cutting down, you have to be in a deficit, right? So you have to be in a surplus. You have to be consuming more calories than you're burning. And in a cut, you need to be burning more than you're consuming, right? Why I say that is because if you're in a point in your life, like maybe where I was asking myself back in November, I needed to be in a place of bulking. I needed more on my food. I needed to take on some more stuff. But if you're in a spot where maybe life is really busy, like if we took on the personal coaching, the online coaching, and then we took on maybe even another project, like, fuck, I got to like start cutting some things off. And it doesn't mean that I necessarily have to get rid of things, but I have to limit my portions, if that makes sense. So you have to ask yourself, what phase are you in?
Right.
Do you need to like maybe cut down on some things? Or can we like add another scoop of those potatoes?
Yeah.
Maybe add another scoop of that beef and bring on a little bit more.
Right.
But when you're doing that reflection, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to go back to the question that I said a little bit earlier. Is this sustainable?
That's the
How
biggest
long am
thing
I
right
going to be
there.
doing this for?
Yeah. How long? Yeah, it's just taking.
Is it a sprint or is it a marathon?
Right. And again, and that's a situational, case by case scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, to your point, and that's what the topic of today is, just bringing that awareness to people.
Yeah.
That's all that it is, because these are things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're dealing with it right now. We're all dealing with it.
We are.
You know.
Let me ask you this question. It's a little bit random, and this isn't another analogy. This is just a question that I have for you. This is just a question that I have for you. So say that you are getting onto a new diet. Diets are like a big thing, right? Carnivore diet, you got keto, you got Whole30, whatever it is. Let's say that you, Colton, you started a new keto diet.
Okay.
How long while you're doing that said diet, is it a diet? When does it become a lifestyle change? When does it just become a new lifestyle? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? What do you think? Do you understand like kind of what I mean by that?
I do understand what you mean. And where my mind goes is 3 months. And the reason why I say 3 months is I'm going back to
90 days.
2021 when we did that challenge.
Yeah.
It was 90 days.
The physique summer challenge.
And I noticed
summer grind.
100%, dude. And after I completed that, I knew that my whole life, everything in my life just changed. My whole lifestyle of eating, how I view food, how I eat. I don't overindulge.
Yeah.
Right. Like 90 days to me was that mark. Right. Some people could argue, 21 or 30 days, whatever. But that's great. But then
30 days is way too short.
I think it's way too short. I think at least a minimum 90 days, personally, at least in my eyes. I think 90 days, you really have that foundation. You're at that point too where you've been doing it for so long. It's just almost like the push-up challenge I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to.
How many are you in?
Day 41. I've already done 4,000 push-ups in the last 40 days.
4,100 after today. 4,100.
After today, be 4,100. Yeah,
go, my boy.
that's what I'm saying,
That's
dude.
big.
It's crazy. So, but I think that 90-day threshold is like a perfect number. So, is that same with you, or do you have a different
can agree
viewpoint?
with that, and it kind of goes back to when I first started working out. There was the whole 90-day rule. I think after 30 days, you start to feel a difference, right? After 60 days, you start to see a difference, and then usually at about the 90-day mark, other people can see a difference. Right? Like when they're looking at you specifically from like a physique standpoint, right? Like if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to build muscle. If you stay consistent, right, with your meals and your workouts, usually you'll feel different after 30 days. Usually after 60 days, you'll look a little bit different. And then usually after about 90 days, other people will see it. And I would even argue, I think you can follow the diet for 90 days. I think when you get closer to about the 6 month mark, it's no longer a diet. You've just changed your lifestyle. If that makes sense.
It does. And
like you're no longer following a diet. Like now you've just changed your life. So now in the morning, instead of reaching for, whatever it is, fucking cereal and milk, now you're reaching for like eggs and avocado.
Yeah.
Like you're not following a diet. Like you're just now doing it out of muscle memory.
Totally.
At this point, when you're going out to dinner, you're getting the chicken salad. You're not getting the wings and the fries anymore. Like your lifestyle has just changed at this point.
Yeah.
But after 60 to 90 days, I feel like you still maybe have to remind yourself like, oh, I'm sticking to this.
Right.
I'm still on this, keto or whatever it is. Right.
Yeah. And I think I totally agree. And I think to add to that too, I think it depends on the person. I think the personality, because you have one person, let's say, who has an addictive personality, right?
Yeah.
Like you and myself, I would say is
very
probably a good
addictive.
example, right? So when I did the 90-day challenge, when I got to that threshold, I'm like, oh, I got to keep going.
I
got to keep going. Or I got to keep going. If I stop, I'm going to be so upset with myself.
Yeah.
And there may be, the opposite. Maybe there's a person who is just doing that for 90 days and they see all the benefits, but they may have a different, maybe a different approach. They have a hard time, kind of keep on going, and they want to find a different balance because they have different needs or wants in life. Like I really think it is dependent upon the person and what they want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So I think there's some factors, but if we're answering your question of an overall arching timeline, I think between 90 and 180 days is a good threshold. I think. But depending on personality.
I think that's money.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It isn't. It's an interesting topic though, because I don't know. I'm just very open-minded right now and having this dialogue because there's so many different avenues that we can keep, doors we can keep opening, right, with this, because it's it's so relevant, and
It's a really good topic.
it is a good topic because it's so easy for some people to take a lot on their plate and to think that you're going to be invincible, you're going to do this, but maybe you were in a situation where I was a couple years ago where you don't have like a strategy or an exit strategy.
You have to have a strategy.
You have to.
No matter what you do.
Right. And I think it took me some time to really realize that. Why am I doing what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to get there? And understanding, like to your point earlier, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Sure, sometimes you may have to sprint if there's certain deadlines. You got to put on your big boy pants.
You can do it, yeah.
And you just got to grind this out. But you have to understand that like you're not the only person who's going through that. It's happening to everyone who goes in and takes on that challenge or journey in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's going back to the whole race thing, right? It doesn't matter if you're a distance runner, if you're a sprinter, or all that kind of stuff. Eventually, our bodies have to stop.
For sure.
It doesn't matter if you run 150 miles like David Goggins, 200 miles. Eventually, you're going to hit that wall.
Right.
And you have to understand yourself and know just how long you can push it. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. We need rest. We can't keep up a crazy pace forever. Mm-mm. So at the end of the day, you also have to factor in when you're looking at your plate, what do you have to do after you eat? You have to give your body time to digest it. Mm-hmm. You can't just keep eating. You have to digest it.
Right.
Let your body chill, rest, like hydrate and all that kind of stuff. And then you come back for another meal in like 3 or 4 hours or whatever it is. But we can't just sit at the table and eat all day. No. Right. So I think it was a really good topic to talk about.
Yeah.
It was big.
It was huge.
Something that we're definitely going through right now. And I feel like a lot of other people that could be listening to this are going through.
Yeah.
How do you balance a full plate? Mm-hmm. When do you know that your plate is too full? You have to be honest with yourself. It goes back to something that's an overarching theme on this show that we talk about all the time. Self-reflection. Mm-hmm. Be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's simple as that. And just have the wisdom to realize that too. Mm-hmm. That's what the wisdom to understand, to realize, hey, I want to do some great things in this life, in this world, but I also have to go at my pace and my timeline. And I will get there when I'm supposed to get there.
When I'm supposed to get there.
Right.
I'm not in a rush.
No, there's no rush for it, man.
Yeah.
So when you rush it, that's when you take shortcuts.
Yeah.
And then it's not enjoyable.
Yep, 100%. And don't do it for a money grab.
Nope.
It's not a money grab.
No.
We want to impact and change lives.
Absolutely.
Let us know in the comments. Shoot us a DM. Let us know some things that you guys are juggling. What are how do you guys balance your plate? How are you focused on portion control? How do you balance all the other endeavors that you guys are doing? Because I know you guys are going through the same things.
We all
Maybe
are.
not in the same capacity, right? Maybe you're not balancing YouTube and podcasts and all this other stuff, right? But you got kids, you got work, you got a social life, you got exercise, couple jobs, whatever it is. We're all balancing something.
Yeah.
Right? So let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But I think we'll leave them here. We'll leave them here for today.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning back into another episode, taking another step with us on this journey, on your journey, whatever journey it may be. We are proud of you. As I say every single episode, we really appreciate the continuous love and support from you guys. It really means the world to us. You guys already know. New episodes every single Tuesday. Thank you so much for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing. Let's go. We'll catch you on the next one. The boys are out. Peace.
Peace.
That was a really good one.
That was a good one.
That was money.
I like that one a lot.